Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, I love the music before the live session start because it like gets you hyped up. Super hyped to be here. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me wherever you're joining in from. Charmin, I see you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Priya, for tuning in. So hyped. If you guys are watching the replay, let me know. In the replay, just use hashtag replays in the comments below. Good morning. Good morning. And if you're watching live, please tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm super excited to have you guys in here. I get so excited to see all you amazing people. Without further ado, though, let's get into it. What are we talking about today? We are talking about the importance of reviewing your days. What does it mean? Why should we even do this? Why bother? Here's why. Basically, I don't know about you guys. I'll share what my experience has been with planning and setting out goals and starting the new year. And let me know down in the comments if you experience the same exact thing. Now, for me personally, towards the end of December or the first few weeks of January, I am trying to figure out how the past year went by. What did I even manage to do? I had so many resolutions set out. I had no idea. Did I catch up to them? Did I meet them or did I not meet them? So there's the pressure of the past. And then there is the pressure of the future as to, oh my gosh, I have so many things I want to achieve. Will I even be able to achieve it? My mindset is cracking because I'm like, what have I done in the past year? Where did the time go by? It's almost like you're grinding between the past and all the mistakes you made, because if we look at ourselves in the past, we usually look at bad things over the good things and all the things that I have to do in the future. So I am in the space where I'm genuinely grinding between the past and the future, and I am hardly being present to what I am supposed to be doing right now here. Have you guys ever experienced it? Please tell me I'm not the only one. I mean, this is something that genuinely happens to me all the time, right? And I was like, well, get after getting into coaching, there has been this space where I have been. Oh, Charmin, I'm all yes. Thank you. Well, after getting into the space of coaching, I realized that I needed to change things. I feel like everyone who is a coach or who has experienced being coached by people around them, they often get into this introspective space. And that happened with me. And I was like, I need to figure out a better way to go about living my life, right? Making sure that my mindset is intact for what the future presents and learning from the past. How do I go about that? Reviewing your days. Now, before I jump into the how, I wanted to kind of go back into why we need to review our days. I'm going to list off a few points. Number one, we are time travelers. And what I mean by this is usually in today's fast paced age of living life, we hardly ever stay in the present. We are either stuck in the past or we are stuck in the future. We are hardly ever present, right? And even when we are present, we are stressed out about everything that's going to happen in the future or everything that has happened in the past. So we are constantly time traveling. We are never in the present. We are never experiencing life for what it is. So reviewing your days actually helps you because we are time travelers. Number two, I'll get into it. I'm not joking. I don't have a time machine or anything like that, but I'll tell you how we will actually um, go about supercharging 2023 by reviewing our days. Number two, we are our own worst critics. I don't know about you guys, but I often beat myself up about every mistake that I have made. I often look at myself from the hi Lakshmi. I often look at myself from the introspective space, and I'm oftentimes beating myself up about, oh, I did this bad, I did that bad, I should have done better, I could have done it better. And I'm usually stuck in the should have, could have space, but never figuring out what I can do better next time. So we are our own worst critics. We even forego the good to look at the bad, right? It's like if you have a whiteboard and there's like a small black dot on top of it, I will forget looking at the white and I look at the black dot and I'm like, ah, see, I missed a spot. I should have cleaned that better. So I am often looking at myself from that mind space. In fact, I'm not even kidding. This happened last night. I was in a space where I was just like, I am useless. What am I doing? I don't make any sense. What is the point of doing all this stuff? I am such a bad coach. I am such a bad um, community leader. I'm such a bad blah, 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 blah. You can fill in the blanks. I go through that process all the time. So, oftentimes, Oh, I love that, Charmin. It was a healing. It is definitely a healing journey. So we are our own worst critics, and oftentimes, I think personally for me, it so happens that even though I move past it, there are things that oftentimes trigger me to go back into the same old space where I was my worst critic, or I was at my worst, and I start to look at myself and judge myself for how much of a stupid person I am, or how embarrassing that was, right? So we are our own worst critics, and we oftentimes look at ourselves from that lens only. Now, the third thing is we often forget the progress that we have made. When you get to December, let me know in the comments if you are in the same boat as me. When I get to December, I'm like, oh my gosh, where did the days go by? What did I even do throughout the year? What was I working towards? What did I achieve? I have no idea. I am genuinely drawing a blank. And this usually happens when I'm in the worst critic mode, because when I try to shift the perspective and I try to look at myself and go, oh, you know what? I must have done some great things, though. I mean, it was not all bad. I remember things being amazing in between there. There were a lot of amazing days and a few bad days sprinkled around. But for the life of me, in that moment, I can't remember what I did. What was the good stuff that I did? What was the progress I made towards my own goal? So I'm genuinely like creating a hole for myself and jumping in there and ensuring that there is no way to climb out of that hole, especially in zones like that, in time periods like that. The next point that I would like to make is we often operate in cycles and repeat our own patterns. What I mean by this is, I had a wonderful, so I have a friend, and we used to do this GAM sessions where we used to talk about spirituality. We used to talk about what's happening in our lives. And one of the things that she picked up was the fact that time is cyclical and we repeat in patterns, right? We have the same things going on over and over again. So it's almost like you can imagine you're here and there's a spiral going on. And every time the spiral reaches the same exact point, so there has been one spiral and there's another spiral right here, you will face similar things or you will think about similar topics. And one of the reasons how she proved it, or one of the ways that she proved it, was actually going back and talking about the 6 month cycle, and how in January she faced the same exact issues, or she was working on the same exact things that she was probably working in July, August, right? That thing was there. We could see that the patterns were repeating. And oftentimes, again, we are, when we are going through life, we are, I like to think of it like this: we are right smack in the middle of a ball of yarn, completely knotted up. We can't look from the outside, we can't look from the outside perspective. If someone's standing out there, or even better example would be, you are in between of ooh maze, that's it. Yeah, you are in between of a maze and you can't figure out what to do next, right? Someone looking from the top can tell you, oh, you need to take the next right, you need to take the next left, you need to keep walking straight and then turn around, right? People from the outside can tell us that. However, when we are inside the maze, we are probably thinking about, oh my god, did I make the wrong turn back there? Am I making the proper turn right now? Am I entangling myself? Am I actually getting out? We are probably in the moment being grinded by the mistakes of the past and the stress of the future. So oftentimes when we are in a space like this, having notes, having documents that tell us that, hey, you know what? This looks similar. We have been in this maze before. You have to take the next right and the next left, and you will be out. You don't have to worry. You're almost there. You're reaching there. But if you don't have, right, Lashmi, I hear you on that. When you don't have that notes, you don't have the documentation, you are usually sitting there and wondering what is the next best step to take. And you're figuring out if the previous step that you took was good or bad. So we often operate in cycles, repeat patterns, and we are right smack in middle of a maze, and we don't know if we are taking the proper next turn or not. All right. The next thing is keep track of our goals. This is one thing that I mentioned. We are time travelers and we often forget about the progress that we have made. And so, a lot of times, the goals and resolutions that we make right smack in the middle or in the beginning of 2023 or a new year, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to achieve this, I'm going to achieve this, these are my goals for this year, I'm super excited to work towards these goals. Oftentimes it happens that that energy, that motivation dissipates, and you forget the intention behind the goals that you started, why you started doing or creating that space for yourself, what was the reason behind you wanting to be at the destination of the goals that you were setting right now. We often forget all about that, and we forget about the progress that we make along the way. So it becomes very difficult to keep track of our goals, and we also forget what the intention was, what the intention behind living every day was, what the intention behind achieving these goals was, what the intention was to be on the journey no matter how difficult, right? In the moment when we are super motivated, super energized, we're like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna achieve all my goals, and this is why I am being super intentional with my time, I'm being super intentional with the people I spend my time with, I'm being super intentional with my goals, the work that I'm doing, the reason behind the work that I'm doing. You're in that space, right? But oftentimes after that time comes to pass, and time will pass. Here's the thing, we, as I mentioned, while there are cycles, there are, it can, you can almost imagine it as waves, right? It is like a wave, and there are going to be tops and there are going to be valleys, and in the valley, after you have been on the top, when you come down, we tend to forget why we started doing the work that we are doing right now. And it's so easy to forget, especially when we are battling our own demons. I think in today's day and age, everyone is working towards healing themselves, towards reaching a better space, reaching and becoming a better version of themselves, right? And in that time, it's very difficult, because this journey, it might look easy from the outside, but when you are in the middle of it, it can be a bit aggravating for the lack of a better word. It can be a bit aggravating, and you can forget. You might want to go back to where you were. You might want to be like, you know what, this is what my fears, this is what my ego wanted me to stop doing, this is why I should have stayed in my comfort zone, this is why I shouldn't have jumped into this change. And so it becomes really important to actually understand what intentions you set out with and remember those intentions, which is why we review our days. How do we go about reviewing our days though? We, number one, document our journey. When I talk about documenting our journey, and before I even jump into all of that, you guys, are you resonating with this? Do you guys have any questions for me? I would love to actually read some of the comments in there. Let me know, do you guys have any questions for me? I am, oh my gosh, the chat is going off. Woohoo! Thank you so much for engaging. That is so powerful. Priya says, I used to be stuck in space perhaps a month ago. I'm taking it slowly and being present, going with the flow and accepting and appreciating life. That is so powerful. Let's go, Priya. I am so hyped for you. Sharmin says, I have let go of being my worst critic. It has been a healing journey. And hello, Adele, all your amazing women. Jane is here. Thank you so much for being here. Great analogy. Thank you so much. Um, it's powerful, very true. Life happens and we forget the things we were passionate about achieving. That's why that vision board is so important. I definitely agree. I have a vision board that I created. I don't know if I can show it right now, solely because I have to go through the things, but it is on my desktop. I'm going to share it in the community hub later on. It's amazing. Priya says, reflect and review, very important, totally resonate with you. You're doing great, Maddie. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, so many amazing people. All right, all right. Thank you so much. If we don't have any questions, let's jump into the how. How do we go about reviewing our days? How do we go about reviewing our times for that matter? Number one, we document. Oh, what do you use to create a review? For example, journal diary. I'm going to get to that, Adele. So, documenting our journey, I personally have this understanding that you need to do what works best for you, right? And here's what I mean. A lot of people have dictaphones. A lot of people love to mention what they are experiencing in the moment, right? For me, I randomly jump into self coaching sessions in the middle of nowhere. Like while I'll be eating, I'll be jumping into self coaching sessions, and I'll be thinking about what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. And so you need to figure out what works best for you, which is the medium that you would like to use, so that you can look back at your journey. What resonates the most with you? There are times when I love to write, and currently I'm practicing and getting into the journey of actually writing down what I am experiencing in the moment. And a great tip for that would be to actually I have tried to be like, what, at the end of the day, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write down everything that I've experienced. But a lot of times I forget what I experienced, because it was in the heat of the moment. I was in a completely different mind space. So I have started to write things down as and when they happen. If there is a journal worthy moment, I write it down right away. But once again, choose your medium. It can be video, it can be audio, it can be journaling, it can even be drawing. A lot of people express themselves and experience what they felt via drawing. So you can actually paint a beautiful picture, paint your emotions out there, right? You can paint whatever you want to paint. I used to sometimes just splatter paint on a piece of a paper, and that would actually help me get rid of all my aggression and all my aggravated emotions and help me calm down. So you can have pieces of paper where you paint stuff, you draw stuff, and write behind what you were actually experiencing when you were going through this process. Use whatever works best for you. But I would also recommend that if you are drawing on random pieces of paper, please make sure that you have them documented or filed away properly for when you are going to review your days at the end of the day or in the future, right? But use whatever works best for you. Find out what you feel the most attracted to. There are times when I am attracted to writing, and I can write literally tens of pages filled with what I was experiencing in the moment. And then there are times when I would rather just speak it out loud, and that helps me. So choose your medium. It doesn't has to be one particular medium, but just remember what you utilized at the end of the day, so that it can help you with your review. um when you are reviewing, though, how do you go about reviewing what you have experienced? Number one, once you have documented your journey, here is an amazing tip. You can review what happened on a particular day, on that particular day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, and when you are doing your quarterly review sessions, right? Figure out how that helps. And I am actually going to attach a link to a workbook that I created, not only around reviewing your days, but also planning out the entire year. And you can go about and look into the template. If you guys don't have a journal on hand, you can use the templates to go about reviewing, recording, and reviewing your days and reflecting on it. So, when you are reviewing, here are a few questions that you can ask yourself at the end of the day. Let's imagine that you have had an eventful day. You've written down everything that happened on that particular day. You have recorded everything that was going on around you, inside of you. And now you are in a space where you're like, you know what, now I'm going to sit down and reflect, which is really amazing. If you have a record of everything that you have done, it makes it really easy to review, to reflect, and think about what you want to do in the coming days. Now, before we jump into the reflection part and share, I want to share a few questions in there. I would like to actually give you a few tips. When you are recording, here's what you can do. When you get up, or whenever you are going to start, quote unquote, start your day, and that can be whatever that looks like. It can be in the beginning of the day when you wake up on the bed and you're like, today is an amazing day, let's get into it. It can be while you're showering, it can be after you've eaten your breakfast, it can be when you sit down on your work table to start work. Whenever you are in a space where you can think about what you want to go about and how you want to go about this journey, and actually like you to and invite you, if you are comfortable with it, to think about what is the intention that you're going to go ahead with. What is the intention of today? What am I trying to achieve today? It genuinely helps you focus really quickly. And when you are done reviewing at the end of the day, you can also sit down and think about what you would like to achieve the next day. Is it together with what you achieved on that particular day, or is it going to be a completely separate thing, right? Is it a continuation of the day that you are experiencing today, or is it going to be a completely different thing? Thank you so much, Priya. um it is great advice. I appreciate that. But basically, sit down and think about what your intention for the day is. What are the goals that you're trying to achieve? When you are setting the intention, my personal preference, and please let me know if you feel the same way, but my personal preference is to rather not go into the goals, but rather go into the aspect of what is the emotion I would like to experience on a particular day. Am I working towards experiencing joy? Am I working towards and even when if you want to experience joy, like literally everyone wants to experience joy, but what how would you like to go about experiencing joy? Is it via impact? Is it via self reflection? Is it via helping people around you? Is it via achieving your goals? Whatever it is, when you set that intention, right? I'm not even kidding, this sounds so stupid, but this is so powerful. Every single time I have tried to experiment with this, right? In setting intentions in the beginning of the day and not setting intentions, and I have recognized that every time I set an intention of, I would love to enjoy my day today, I would love to be in a space where my energy is at an all time high and I'm going with the flow. I would love to be in a space where I am calm today. Today's intention is to be in a self reflective space. Every time you set down what you want to experience on that day, after that point of time, I am not even joking, and you can record about this and review it at the end of the day. But every time I set my intentions, I notice that moving forward, no matter what the situation is, what is coming up for me and within me, I start to think from the logical point of, well, is it in alignment with the intention I set at the beginning of the day? If it is not, what can I do better? So I stop experiencing life from the, I need to figure things out ASAP, I need to get this done as soon as possible. I go from the fast paced life to actually moving forward with intention, moving forward with a self reflective sense of mind and perspective, right? So give this a try if you're interested. I would love to know what intentions you're setting in the beginning of your day. What are some of your favorite intentions to set? Let me know down in the comments. Amazing. After you have set the intention, you can also think about what are some of the goals that you would like to achieve. This is another great point. For some time, for example, personally, I don't like to edit as much as I like to create content. And every time I sit down to edit, I have this sense of, oh my God, not again. I hate this. I hate editing. This is the worst thing ever. Like, I know there are people out there who love doing this and they are amazing at their jobs. But personally, for me, I'm like, oh my God, not again. I hate the days when I have to sit down and edit. So I started to look at it from a different perspective and go from the intention of, well, I get to experience the moments where I was extremely amazing today. I get to experience the moments where at I was receiving all these inputs. I was receiving all this knowledge from source, God, Allah, whoever you want to believe in, the universe. I was experiencing and receiving, and I was speaking out what I was feeling in the moment. And that is so powerful. So every time I sit down to edit, if I go from that intention, that perspective, it changes the game. It genuinely changes the game, because there are times when it happens during coaching sessions, it happens during recording podcasts, recording YouTube videos, where I genuinely say things and I don't remember saying it afterwards. I Even in the moment when I'm saying it, I'm like, that's a very good point. God knows how I got that entire point into my mouth and had the ability to say it out loud. So when I am editing, if I look at things from that perspective, it really changes the game. So and this is also a great way to actually look about and do things that you don't necessarily like, and go about that journey from a newer perspective. Again, this is something that I understood after reviewing my days, that every time I sit down to edit, I hate it. I feel my energy going all the way down. So I was like, well, what can I do about it? How can I raise that energy back up? And I was like, let me look at it from a different perspective. So you find a lot of the solutions to your problems by reviewing your days, because believe it or not, you are a powerful being. And write about all the answers, or at least the beginning of the answers that you're looking for, exist within yourself and you don't even realize it. So when you're recording your days and you're reviewing it, you're reflecting on it, you will find the answers to almost all the questions that you ever had, or at least the beginning of it. So powerful. Amazing. All right, so I want to share with you a few quick questions that you can utilize when you're reviewing and reflecting at the end of the day. Number one, what helped you and what didn't help you? What were some of the activities that genuinely helped you, and what were some of the activities that didn't help you? What were some of the activities that served you, and what were some of the activities that didn't serve you? Did you have a good day? Right? And this is such a powerful thing, because this was shared to me by my coach Preston Smiles, and he always says that, you know what, record your days, review your days, because you never know what you are doing on a good day and what you're doing on a bad day. So write down if you had a good day, What went well? What were some of the things that you did on a good day? What can you do, or can you repeat these activities every single day to ensure that you have good days going forward? Right? And then once again, the previous questions come into play. Did these activities serve me, or did these activities not serve me? Right? It's really important, just as you record and review on your good days, to record and review on your bad days. Because a lot of times when you are having bad days, you have no idea why you are experiencing it. Once again, we are right smack in the middle of the maze. We don't know how to get out. So when you are looking back from a higher perspective, you can actually be like, you know what, that is something that must have triggered me into getting into a bad mood throughout the day. And so you can keep an eye out, right? You can keep an eye out. The next time this happens, I know what to do. Or you can keep a track. I like to tally this, and I share this amazing exercise with literally all my clients, all my talents, and I tell them, you know what, sometimes you never know what is stressing you out. So it's amazing to keep a track of what usually stresses you out and keep a tally, right? These are some things that usually stress me out. So I know that every time I'm going to experience this thing, I am going to get stressed out. And so I can look at things from a newer perspective. I can look at things from a higher perspective and be like, you know what, this usually stresses me out. What can I do differently? Once again, going back to the editing example, I know that every time I sit down to edit, I am going to get into a bad mood. I am going to hate it. I am going to experience my energy going all the way down. And so, what can I do? Shift my perspective. Great. Did shifting my perspective help me or not? It did. So, that's the next thing, right? If you are having a good day or a bad day, write down, was today a good day or was today a bad day? What did I do to throughout the day? Keep a note of all the things you did throughout the day on a good day, and keep a track of all the things you did on a bad day. Can repeating the things that you did on a good day turn a bad day to a good day? Right? So confusing. But some of the activities, let's say playing with your pets, you remember that on a day that you played with your pets, you had a brilliant day. You played with your pets in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Well, when you are having a bad day, can playing with your pets actually help you get turn the bad day into a good day? So keep a note of all those activities. What are some things that help you turn bad days into good days? Right? How many days of the week, month, quarter, and year did you actually spend being intentional and focusing on the goals that you set out in the beginning of your journey? How many days, weeks, months, quarters, or years, or throughout the year, did you actually hit all the goals that you set out to achieve? Right? And amazing thing that you can do is, actually, when you have a really big goal, break it into chunks and sprinkle it throughout the months. Right? When you look at a big goal, you're like, oh my gosh, that is too much. I can't for the life of me reach that goal. Break it into chunks and sprinkle it throughout the months. Oh, if I want to, let's say my goal in this year is to run 100 kilometers. Well, let's run 10 kilometers in 10 months, right? 2 months here and there. Let that be aside. Let's try to run 10 kilometers in 10 months. Okay, that's achievable. Well, let's try to break it down further. Let's try to run 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers every week. Is that achievable? Oh, yeah, definitely. 3 kilometers is a definitely achievable goal in a week that I can achieve, so that I can reach the point of hitting 10Ks throughout the month. When you break the big goals into smaller goals, it's really, really easy for you to achieve and hit the goals that you wanted to hit. This is where keeping track of your goals comes into play. So, how many days, weeks, months, quarters did you actually spend hitting the goals that you set out to hit? Did you, at the end of the day, when you hit those goals, did you feel the same energy that you felt when you set out the intention of hitting your goals? Did you feel that same power? What did you feel on that day? Really important, write down everything that you're feeling on a particular day. Emotions are powerful things. And a lot of times I notice this with my talents, I notice this with the people that I work with, that they oftentimes try to shove their feelings under the rug and think that they never existed, right? But here's the thing: we are human beings, not robots. If we had to think and just act logically, we would be no different than robots. We have a God given gift of feeling all these emotions. So why not experience them to their fullest? And the more you experience them, the more quickly they dissipate, right? A lot of times people are like, oh, I am angry, I'm going to shove it inside and never think about it. You are going to build up on that anger. So, recording, journaling what you're feeling in that moment, recording down why you're feeling angry can actually help you create an outlet for all those emotions to come out in a healthy way, rather than it building up and coming out at times when you don't necessarily require it. Like, imagine you have been having bad days over the past few days. You go into a meeting with your boss says something like, oh, Madhurima, I see that you didn't hit all your goals this week, what is up? And I start bursting into crying and having a meltdown because that was the last thing that I had to hear. It's really important to notice what you're feeling and work on those emotions, experience those emotions that you're feeling. So another great thing that you can do is write down all the emotions that you experience throughout the day and reflect back on it and review back on it. It's really powerful. I From the logical sense, it doesn't give you an output that we don't necessarily see right off the bat, but it's really powerful when you get to experience those emotions in their entirety. Oh, that was powerful. All right, some of the other things that you can ask yourself: what are some things that I can do to ensure that whatever happened could be done better? What can I continue to do? What are some of the activities that I can continue to do? What are some of the activities that I need to change? What are some of the activities that need to evolve? Right, let's break this down. What are some of the activities that I need to continue? You feel that doing this particular activity is really amazing and you continue doing it. You don't need to change anything in it because you don't see a necessity to change it or evolve on it. But however, you see that, this activity is not helping me out as much as it could have helped me out, I need to change it. So what can you do better? What can you do instead of this activity? The reason why you need to evolve it is you have been doing an activity for a while, and for example, if you have been running 3Ks, very easily you have been conquering the goal of running 3Ks in a particular week. You can be like, well, can I add on to it? I have been doing it for a few weeks, and maybe it's coming to the end of the month. I don't find any difficulty doing 3Ks throughout the weeks. Can I increase and can I try to do 4Ks every week? Can that be an evolution of the goal that already existed? So you can ask all these questions, and again, once again, I'll be attaching a link at the end for you guys to download all the work, the entire workbook that has a lot of questions, not only around this but also your mindset, um, around creating the goals that you want to create. There's a vision board activity in there. It's super powerful, so you guys can check that out afterwards. But that brings me to an end to my presentation. I'm super excited. I genuinely was so in the flow, I didn't even notice your comments. I'm gonna read out all the comments that you guys wrote. Thank you so much for engaging, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in here because I would love to answer them. All right, all right. Adele said, what do you use to create a review, for example, journal or diary? I personally, for me, I have been using this app called Journey, and it is an app that is available both on phone and on the Windows laptop thingy. So it genuinely helps me that sometimes I don't have my phone around, but I would like to notice or I would like to write down what I experienced in the moment. So I use my laptop and I get going with it. Paul says, loving this, Madhurima. Thank you. uh, Sharmin says, loving your avatar. All right, all right. Hello, Donna. I don't know where it came from or how to refer. I need to see this avatar. Oh my gosh. uh, Priya says, very good advice. Thank you so much. Um, Happy Sunday. Journaling is my way of reviewing things, sitting and reflecting. Really powerful. Charmin Jane says, I love that. Thank you, Jane. Donna says, I love to ask myself first thing in the morning or after smiling, how do I want to feel by the end of the day? That is such a powerful question. I love that. How has it helped you shift in your days, Donna? If you have been doing this activity for a while, please let me know down in the comments. How has doing this activity or asking yourself this question actually changed the way you experience life for yourself? Priya says, you're right. Intention is the way to go. I like the idea of enjoying the process too. Thank you so much. Shanmin says, everything you're sharing, Mary, is amazing, healthy, and so powerful. Thank you very much. Lakshmi says, I am more flexible. Sometimes I set on writing. This brings clarity and a sense of pride of where I have reached. Sometimes I have an inner dialogue with self. Whatever is working at that moment. I hear you so hard on that, Lakshmi, but I genuinely would like to invite you that after you have had the inner dialogue to write down what you were experiencing at the beginning, when before that dialogue started, and what solution you came up with at the end of it. And here's why: when you are reviewing yourself, not only in your daily thing but also in your weekly, monthly, quarterly, or at the end of the year, there are going to be times when once again the patterns repeat and you experience yourself facing the same question. Remembering the answer that you came up with will genuinely be a powerful thing. If you can record it on phone, on audio, you can ask yourself the questions out loud. But if nothing of that is possible, just write down how you experienced it at the beginning, what you experienced at the beginning of that self dialogue, and what solution you came up with, because that is genuinely powerful when it comes to reviewing yourself, your days, and your time. I am more into intentions rather than resolution. I love that. From the previous webinar of Paul Smith and Vijaya, I remember that setting intentions can also be made before going to bed, visualizing for a beautiful day and how will it be like. That is so true. I am so glad you brought that point up, Charmeen, because I love that point when Vijaya and Paul made it. So, yeah, definitely. It is a powerful thing, right? At the end of the day, if you are like, tomorrow is going to be a powerful day, and here's how I'm going to make it powerful. I am going to wake up and I'm going to make pancakes for myself because I love eating pancakes. I know that I am going to go to sleep smiling and I am going to wake up smiling. So, definitely a great point. Thank you so much for sharing that and bringing that into focus in today's webinar. Woohoo! Priya has a question. Do you think we should be goal focused, oriented on a daily basis? Because we tend to beat ourselves up when we didn't accomplish it at the end of the day. Amazing question. So again, it depends on you. Some days, Priya, you can be focused on what you want to feel, what you want to experience. I feel like when we think about the goal as and of itself, it becomes a very big and scary thing sometimes, because you, once again, when we are in the self critic mode or we are in our worst critic mode, it becomes very difficult to look at things from a positive experience or from a higher perspective. So at times, while you can be goal oriented on a daily basis, you can also be goal oriented on a weekly basis. You can ask yourself, what is the next week's goal? What are the goals that I would like to achieve in the next week? And when you find out what that goal looks like, you can then break it down into what you want to achieve. What does the journey look like, right? Rather than focusing on the destination, what does the journey look like? If the journey looks like, for example, and this is really powerful, um, personally, I have a goal of reaching 10K dollars every month. That is my financial goal. But when I sat down to make my vision board, I was like, how do I, what am I trying to achieve? How do I show this on my vision board? Because a vision board is not about achieving the goal. A vision board is about, personally from my perspective, about what you experience after you achieve a particular goal. And so for me, I was like, oh, I would love to spend time with my family. I would love to have a space where I can invite my community. We can have retreats. I would love to travel around the world with my dogs. That is what having financial stability looks like to me. So when I am working towards the goal of, oh, 10K a month, let's break it down once again to trying to reach 2Ks or 3Ks per week. When I'm working towards that goal in mind, I'm like, okay, my intention is to have a space where I would love to enjoy time with my family and be a bit more relaxed, as to me not being the sole person figuring out how to go about life and how to manage business at the same time. I would love to have a bit more free time. When you are thinking about all the intentions you're setting, it becomes a much easier way for you to work towards your goal. And at the end of the day, be like, well, did I achieve? Did I make a small addition to the goal that I wanted to achieve? Did I move the bar a bit ahead? And if I did, that is amazing. So being graceful in that manner genuinely helps yourself be graceful, be grateful to yourself as well for all the things you achieved and didn't achieve. But yeah, I hope that answered your question, Priya, because I can go off on tangents sometimes. Priya says awesome stuff. Along with that, have a list of shifters. What can I do to shift my mindset? Really powerful. What are some of the things that I can utilize to shift my mindset? And a lot of times that's playing with dogs, but yeah, I mean, that is really powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that tip, Priya. Donna says, look for the lessons learned and celebrate the gifts. Loving the way you're phrasing things. Let's sprinkle. Yay, let's go. Thank you so much. Um, Small steps, big priority. They will say, right? Yeah, I love that. Yes, we are human beings, never robots. Just like kids, they express all their emotions boldly. They don't hold grudges and forgive easily. That is so true. That is such a good point, Charmin. Thank you so much for bringing that into the notice. Love this. Let it out. Say what you are feeling using whatever medium feels comfortable. Thank you so much. Live your emotions fully and choose to not linger in negative emotions. Use positive emotions to push you forward. Love that. Woohoo! Great job. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love your energy as you speak. I can feel your presence. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the workbook. Great advice. Stay amazing. It has channeled my focus and intentions to the positive and what's possible. It helps me to fall in love with life rather than feel anxious. Oh, I love that. I think that was one of my biggest focuses and intentions for this year as well, Donna. Is I have a lot of big goals that I want to achieve, and I have noticed in the past when I kept reviewing and reflecting back on how I experienced my life, I noticed that a lot of times I move towards my goals with fear rather than love. Right? I am so afraid of not reaching my goals that I push myself to reach my goals and I forget what the intention behind it was in the very first place. Right? So it becomes very easy to move forward with fear. But if you choose to move forward with love, if you give yourself grace and gratitude, that is so powerful. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Hey, Charmin loves pancakes too. Beautiful reflection. Thanks for sharing. All right. Amazing. Oh, I just realized that Donna said that as an answer to the question that I asked before. That is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Donna. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to share them. Uh, share your, oh, this is something that I have started to do because I love doing this. Share one of your biggest takeaway from this session down in the comments so that I can feel hyped up and keep doing the work that I'm doing and share it with you guys. Woohoo! With that, yeah, I'll keep waiting for you guys and figure out if I bought a bottle of water here to drink water. But yeah, if not, please feel free to comment later on as well. I am not gonna force you. Not yet. No, I'm not gonna force you. Please feel free to share whatever you felt, whatever resonated with you the most in today's session in the comments on Facebook, on YouTube, or inside the hub. We will be sharing this wonderful replay in the hub. So please feel free to check it out there as well. Your energy and passion loved it. Thank you. Key takeaway daily check-in. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna mute myself so that I can drink water. Thank you so much, you guys. I'm loving this. I am loving the engagement. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Extremely grateful. Please remember to check out the workbook. And if you need any help, any kind of support, reach out to me inside Coaching Minds. I am oftentimes throughout the day available on Coaching Minds because I'm still learning a lot in there. So if you want, reach out to me. You can set something up. I would love to hold space for you. I would love to sit down with you and have a conversation with you if that is what you want. Super excited. Resonated with intentions and reviewing our day. I love that. Thank you so much. Woohoo! Amazing. So, with that, I'll see you the next time. Please stay tuned. We have some amazing human beings coming along and sharing their own personal journeys, sharing amazing topics. The Coaching Minds Hub is going off. We have so many amazing people in here, so many amazing coaches, and they are going to hold and continue on, passing on the torch to this conference. So, yeah, please stay tuned for their sessions as well. I'll see you in there. Thank you so much.